Okay, boys and girls, there's no school, and I know that you guys study history in school, so because we're not going to school, we might as well learn a little history. So let's talk about the history of wheel horse tractors. Yeah.
I don't like history.
And so let's start out with the wheel horse motto years ago was get a horse, a wheel horse, of course. Cut.
Alright, first coat of paint turned out pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, that looks
So we
good.
put 2 coats of paint
Nice.
on the chassis,
Good.
using steel wool in between coats to rub it down. And we're pretty happy with the finish, how it turned out. Pretty nice. So far, so good with this Krylon tractor paint. Putting the chassis back together was very rewarding. The best part of a project like this is always seeing the paint and the colors come together.
Probably 10 years ago, I was at a tractor show with a friend of mine, and we were browsing through the flea market, and there was a guy there that had a bunch of different books, and I spotted this one, and I'd never heard of it before, and I looked in it and see what it was about, and I had to have it. And anybody that's interested in the history of wheel horse, it's kind of an interesting book, I think. Interesting story. The guy started the whole business in the garage and built it up to what it became.
Wheel horse tractors weren't built like the standard mowing tractors of today. These tractors were made to plow a small field, push snow blow, cut down hay, do all kinds of things that the standard mowing tractor of today can't do.
This same basic configuration was used all the way through until they quit making these in like 2000. They came out with this in the 60s.
So this 1963 design chassis and front axle and drivetrain, basically the same thing on this more modern. What year is this one?
I'm not sure. I think it's early 90s.
One of the things that my dad and I have always loved about these tractors was the simple design, the robustness of the build, and the fact that they carried over the same design year after year.
cranks around. This is the connecting rod. And the connecting rod connects the piston to the crankshaft. And then this is the camshaft, and it's got these bumps on it that come up and push the valve lifters open. And the valve lifters push the valve open.
Elmer Pond originally started building tractors with his family in his 2-car garage. The tractors are built from surplus iron and surplus auto parts. Eventually, the Pond family had to change the name from Pond Tractor to the Wheel Horse Company due to another corporation's naming conflict. Cecil Pond, Elmer's son, joined him in developing the company into what it eventually became, employing hundreds of employees and building thousands of wheel horse tractors. The more I learn about the Pond family and the history of wheel horse, the more I think, you know, this just fits right with the theme of this video series. Spending this time with my dad, my son, and my daughter is truly special. We're creating memories that'll last for a lifetime.
Otherwise it looks good.
So today, got the motor all tore down, cleaned up, and ready to go back together with the new parts.
Well, we moved here in October of '77, and in the spring of '78, I was looking for a tractor because, we didn't have a yard or anything. I knew I was going to have a yard, and we needed something to work with around here, so I started looking around, and I found this wheel horse. And I took it apart. Well, I got a deal on it because the tractor was locked up, the rear wheels wouldn't turn. I bought it off of a dealer. And I made a deal with them, and they delivered it. And so I tore the transmission apart. I tore it out of the tractor because I worked for Clark Equipment. I knew something about transmission, so I took it apart and found the shift lever was out of sync with the shift rails, and I fixed that. I didn't have to take it all apart. All I had to do was pull the shift lever out of it, and I put it back together, and I got it running. And then your older sister was here, and she was 9 at the time, and she was all excited about it and wanted to drive it. So there's a picture of her driving it right after I got it running.
So this is the only picture that you have of a wheel horse.
The only picture I have of it.
Look at this picture. Yep. Back in them days, we didn't have camera phones and stuff, so we don't have like pictures of every single thing like we do now.
No. No, it's all film.
Yep.